Welcome back to the Witchwood Inn-vitational. We're about to get into match number 2, but right now, TJ's out and the doctor is in. Dr. Jinkaninki, thanks for joining us, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, those last games were really exciting. I was so excited for Shutterwalk Shaman, and then to see the power and the strength that it could bring was just incredible. And I was just mesmerized looking at all the Shutterwalks, and then Orange walking away during the middle of it was just phenomenal.
Just drop the mic.
Exactly.
Just drop the mic and walk away. We got Tyler versus Dog coming up. It's Americas versus Europe in this battle in the Witchwood Inn-vitational. They're playing Conquest. Best of 5. There are no bans available for this stage. Each match that the teams win earns them an advantage in the final winners-take-all match, where each match win results in an additional class ban that they get in that final match. So taking a look, Tyler's got Rogue, Priest, and Paladin. Dog has got Rogue, Druid, and Warlock.
I know. I was excited to see the Druid. I mean, that's one of the classes that was struggling in the past metas just because the Jade Druid of previous time had a really hard time dealing with Skulking Geist, and then now with all the new cards, there's this archetype for Hand Druid, and I've even seen some Taunt Druids. I was playing on ladder, and the Taunt Druid was just playing the old Bear card, but it also used some old tools, and it had more time to thrive because of the Paladin deck that have surfaced.
Yeah, a lot of the new tools for Druid I think are really cool. There's one that's a 2-mana card that adds 3 2/2 treants to your hand, and that allows you to play Twilight Drake. There's a new card that's a 4/5 taunt minion that is a Druid Twilight Drake, basically.
Yes.
And then, of course, Mountain Giant is in there as well, and the 4-mana card that summons a Wisp for each card in your hand. So you can get 7 Wisps for 4 mana. We've seen some 4-mana 7/7s before.
Yes, and they're pretty powerful, especially when you can do that and then just Savage Roar the next turn. And that's a lot of damage, especially on turn 5.
It's a lot of damage that goes into it. I'm really looking forward to seeing the match. Druid, I think, is in quite an interesting spot, unlike a lot of the situations it's been before with a lot of new cards from the Witchwood. Rogue, it feels like it has a lot of different directions to go as well. You have opportunities for Spectral Blade. Kingsbane is in the mix. We saw Ali Straza do some work with good old-fashioned Keleseth in the Tempo Rogue list. And then Warlock's looking really strong too. A lot of new utility tools to go along with Q-Block in there. Some new decks and some refinement in some of the older archetypes that are there as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Rogue because of the new legendary Tess Greymane. And Tess Greymane is just such an absurd card sometimes, and I really wanted Ali Straza to play Tess at one point just to see what it did with Shutterwalk and all of that. And it just gets you so much value that the typical Tempo Rogues did not have in the past. That is just absurd.
Yeah, well, we got Tyler on the line for an interview up first. Tyler, how you doing, my friend? It's 24 hours after release, and you have to compete in a match here. How are you feeling about your decks today?
I'm good, man. I've been playing Hearthstone nonstop since expansion. I'm actually on vacation right now. I'm on a skiing trip, and when you play Hearthstone for 2 days nonstop in your hotel room when you're on a skiing trip, then you know that you're addicted.
Well, it's a perfect time to be playing the game with the new release. What have you been enjoying the most from the new set? I know it's only been a day, but what have you been focusing on mostly?
I actually wasted a lot of time trying to build a Face Hunter deck. That did not work out. And then I was considering bringing Warlock and Shaman at first, but I didn't want to do that to the viewers. I wanted to bring something else, so ended up bringing decks that are maybe not as strong as those, but I hope that I can Vice Dog.
And it's surprising him feels a little bit difficult. He's pretty creative. Are you expecting him to bring some more wacky stuff to this one, or do you think that he's going to be trying to bring just the more powerful stuff that you guys think are there?
Dog is a very scary opponent for me because he's very unpredictable. He's very creative, and he can play all decks. He can build all types of decks. So I actually have no idea what he will bring, but I do know that Dog also doesn't like to lose, so he'll probably just bring really strong decks.
All right, well, fantastic to hear from you. I'm looking forward to seeing what you brought, and good luck in your match.
Thank you, man.
Tyler loves to play himself some ladder. At one point, Tyler held all 3 #1 spots on Asia Pacific, on the Americas region, and in Europe simultaneously.
Now that's dedication. I mean, a lot of pro players, you're trying to achieve that rank 1 slot just in your respective region, let alone on all 3 servers. I mean, that's hardcore.
But talking about someone who plays a lot, Dog is on the line as well. We've got him for an interview with the skeleton in the back. and everything. Dog, I know that you love to get creative with some lists. How are you feeling about the decks you've brought today?
I think one of them's a little sketchy, but the other ones, they're good. They're fun. Just wanted to play something that, I don't know, I guess I could kind of have a good time playing, you know? Don't want the same boring meta decks, but at the same time, still want to win. So.
I mean, you calling it sketchy makes me think that it's got to be awfully sketch, because I've seen some of the stuff you play.
It's not that sketchy, you know? It's just, it's 24 hours up to release the expansion. Not all the lists are optimized, so, you know, decks that I think are good are probably really bad. I don't know. We'll see how it works out.
What's really piqued your interest so far? Out of the classes that you didn't bring, is there anything that really stands out to you as like, wow, that's a really cool idea?
A really cool idea. I mean, I didn't bring Odd Paladin, but I think that deck is like insane. It feels like the nuts every time. I don't know how to beat it if you're not Warlock. It's really scary, but yeah.
And going up against Tyler, this guy is quite a ladder grinder. He's a very formidable opponent. Are you worried about what he's brought, or do you think this is going to be smooth sailing for you?
I think I'll be okay. I mean, we'll have to see like how the classes line up, but yeah, he's definitely a good player. So just gonna be a good match overall.
All right. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you played. Thanks for joining us, and good luck in your match. If Dog's calling something sketch, it's really sketch, I think.
Yeah, no, that's got to be a little concerning, especially when you're up all night, you're building your deck, and you think you've cracked the meta, you think you've found the best deck, and then you submit it and you go, what have I done? What have
I watch a lot of Dog stream, and he likes to compete, but he likes to play some wild stuff as well. So the fact that he's able to compete and play some of the crazier decks that are out there, I mean, now this is days one, and you know, the chains are off. There's nothing to hold him back from this one.
Nothing holding back, and it's very impressive to have such unique deck building talent, and then also do so well with it. I mean, a lot of players, they can play the best decks optimally, and then some players can play some like lower tier decks, but just to insane levels. Yeah,
it's definitely the case. You know, we're also talking about just the brand new metagame that's here. Less 24 hours after release. I mean, when you qualified for Bahamas, you know, that was amidst the decks. You know, people started to figure out, wow, these decks are really good. There's a lot better than the others. What's it like playing in a very new, diverse format versus more of a figured out towards the end of the rotation format?
So one of the main differences with the new diverse format is it really rewards deck builders. It really rewards people who have put the time in to figure out what works. What card combinations can they put together that will make the most efficient plays? And then later on in this season, when the decks start to become more defined, it then becomes more technical play and who makes the most optimal plays and who gets there on that level. But still, at the beginning of the season, it really rewards deck builders.
I always love to see that too. I mean, creativity is such a wonderful thing. The metagame that we've had recently is just under constant innovation as well. You know, with the balance patch coming right after the World Championships, there was so much room to maneuver with deck lists, and that's not always there in card games. It's not always there in metagames either. Sometimes things stand out as very strong, but right now, I mean, there's just so many wonderful tools that you can add to stuff, and so many cool new cards. Shaman got a new hero card.
Yes, the hero card is, and it also works with Shutterwalk, which makes me even more excited. Any card that works with Shutterwalk, I might just put in that Shaman deck.
I love to see it. So many powerful, just unique takes on stuff too. What cards have you been excited for most yourself? Anything that really stands out to you?
I mean, the obvious ones are Shaman, Shutterwalk. I've been talking about that like non-stop the whole time, but without that one, I also really like the flavor from Lord Godfrey. I know it's a really powerful AoE card, and I really like how the art on it. I'm a huge fan of aesthetics, and I love the art on it. And we're going into game number 1, Tyler versus Dog. Looks like Dog is on the Warlock, and Tyler is on what appears to be an Odd Paladin.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Lord Godfrey, but Dog's got the, which is a 7 mana, 4/4, says Battle Cry, deal 2 damage to all other minions, and if any minions are destroyed in that process, you repeat it. So it can chain all the way up and just kill the whole board if there's there's enough big enough chain. But he's also got Glinda Crowskin, which is a 6 mana 3/7 legendary. It says all your minions have Echo.
Yes, and I was actually looking at this list right now, and it first appears to be a typical Q block. You look at the opening hand, you say, I've seen all these cards before. But then you get into just the bulk of it, and there's Meat Wagon, and there's Summoning Portal, and one of the coolest things that I'm looking at this list and seeing is there's also Nomfratu. What could happen later on in the game is if Summoning Portal comes down with Glinda Crowskin and you make Nomfratu as cheap as possible, you can just fatigue and mill as many cards as possible.
Oh my gosh, you just run them out of cards.
Yes, and exactly. So it's almost like a traditional fatigue Warlock.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really cool.
And I was looking at the list, I was like, why is Meatwagon in this? Why is Summoning Portal? What does Nofratu do? And then it just came at me like a train.
Wow, that's really cool. Looking at Tyler's deck, it looks like that he has brought the odd Paladin deck that Dog was talking about. He said he thought it was really strong coming into it, and he's featuring Witch's Cauldron. It's a 3-mana 0/4 minion. It says, after one of your minions dies, add a random shaman spell to your hand. And it doesn't count itself. It says after a minion dies, so the text is no longer in play when that happens. But this deck has been quite formidable in my time against it, and in the couple of games that I played it. It's just got a lot of good stuff.
Yes, the Witch's Cauldron gives it extra value that the deck typically wouldn't have, and the Paladin upgraded hero power is insane. I mean, especially with cards like Corridor Creeper. Now, Corridor Creeper did get a big nerf, making it a 2/5, but a 0-mana 2/5 on turns 4 and 3 is still really, really good.
You're talking about the amount of minions that you can crank out thanks to Baku the Moon Eater. It's a 9-mana 7/8, 7/9?
7/9.
7/9, and it says at the start of the game, if you have only odd cost cards in your deck, you upgrade your hero power. And so for Paladin, that means that the hero power goes from making 1 Silverhand recruit to making 2 Silverhand recruits instead. That's a lot of minions that you can fuel through Witch's Cauldron and into a Corridor Creeper.
And one of the traditional ways to
Slams the meat wagon.
You might as well.
And look at Tyler. He's laughing about it. Dog looks like all business, though. He's like, oh, this meat wagon's going to get you.
Tyler's trying to figure out what that summons right now. Does it summon a Doomsayer? Does it summon a Summoning Portal?
I never,
you never know.
ever want to kill cards that do stuff like this. It always feels so scary. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's very scary, especially when you don't, especially this early in the expansion. Maybe there's a card you're forgetting about that could be so absurd when this meat wagon dies that you just don't want to face it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if he doesn't know that there's a Summoning Portal combo, you know, of course, in this game, that doesn't look like it's likely to be relevant. But here, you're thinking, what if he buffs the meat wagon? What if he buffs the meat wagon and gets something bigger and I don't expect him to get that?
Yeah, you don't know what's coming out of the wagon. He's just kind of showing up and
cranking out shaman spells too. That cauldron's
Exactly.
brewed up.
That cauldron is on fire right now, literally and figuratively. Literally. How many spells is that? That's 5 spells so far, with the potential for more.
That's crazy. And shaman spells are pretty darn good. I mean, a lot of them are, you know, some misses in there, but you know, when they're basically free. It's way different. I mean, Frost Shock suddenly becomes a pretty good card if you're just able to just have it. You don't have to put it in your deck. You just start drawing them.
Yeah, and the shaman spells are also very versatile. The shaman spells, they range from spot removal to AoE to just, I mean, even stall effects like Frost Shock. And, I mean, this Defile comes out, that Tyler's hand is going to be instantly full. And there's nothing much he can do about it.
Yeah, that's something else, though, to think about from a liability perspective, is that the Cauldron can just fill up your hand. You know, you end up burning a card. You know, say he burns one of those key cards and he's like, Totemic Mites, why?
Yeah, I would rather have the cards from the Odd Paladin, the Odd Cost Paladin deck than the Totemic Mite.
If you had to choose one of the two, yeah.
Unless you get Primal Talismans. Then you get Primal Talismans, and you play it on this board state, and then you Totemic Mite. Now, that's fancy.
Now you're thinking.
Now we're next level.
This is why we got Dr. J on the desk. He's always thinking one step ahead.
So it looks like the Summoning Portal is going to come out, and here's, unfortunately, Glenda's not on the board right now.
Yeah,
but
Summoning Portal does reduce it to a minimum of 1, so you can't just mill their whole deck.
Using the cube on the Summoning Portal.
Oh, that's quite smart. So now, because he's under some pressure, but he doesn't feel like he's just going to outright die from this. And so if he's able to get through this turn, but that means that Void Lord's going to cost 5 mana next turn. So if he sets up Defile, his cube can die, and then he can play a 5-cost Void Lord afterwards.
Who needs Lackey? Who needs Lackey Dark Pack when you can just play the Void Lord on turn 5 anyways?
You just summon it. You just Carnivorous Cube your own Summoning Portal, kill your own Carnivorous Cube, and then have Void Lord in your hand. Way easier.
Unfortunately for Dog, there is this shaman spell known as Hex, and that's looking pretty juicy on the cube right now.
You know, I mean, but I mean, how often are you like 2 Summoning Portals? Wow, that's really scary. Here's the thing: if my opponent plays something weird, I tend to just get rid of it. I'm like, I don't know why he's got that weird thing, but he's got it for a reason, and I don't want to figure out what that is.
Yeah, you never really want to know, especially when you've never seen the deck before and you're just trying to work it out in your head. What is Dog up to?
Yes, exactly. And I don't want to know what he's up to because that probably means something bad for me right now.
Oh, not getting the Shaman spell from that Witch's Cauldron. Wondering if Tyler was trying to set that up in a way that he didn't burn a card from his deck in the trades, but I think he's going to ultimately end up doing that. And Ice Fishing, I don't think that's too good for the Odd Paladin.
If you have Murlocs, yeah, but there's not really any Murlocs in here, I don't think. But, you know, Dog's still under some pressure here.
And Zola the Gorgon is another card that just works beautifully with Glenda Crowskin.
He's just going to play it. He's just looking at it. He's like, just. It's like, yeah, I think I just gotta.
Holding on to both of these Defiles, trying to figure out when is the optimal time to use them. I mean, a lot of the Shaman cards currently in the hand aren't the greatest. Frost Shocks are okay. Feral Spirit's probably the best one in the hand currently, but Totemic Might and Ice Fishing are just dead cards.
Yeah, I mean, the big one to look at for me is that he's got to, you know, he's just got to get through Dog's life total. And Dog is pretty much dedicating himself to just trying to stay alive as long as he can and really make the most of it. So while he's on pretty slow playing himself, you know, Tyler doesn't really have a way to punish Dog for not having checked his board state.
No, I mean, it's a fairly weak board state right now, but Tyler's going to look to change that, playing the Hench Clan Thug and the Sacred Maul, giving everything taunt, just pushing as much damage as possible currently. But Void Lord's coming down soon, though.
Yeah, it is. 3 mana, 3/3. It says after your hero attacks, gain +1/+1.
Yes, that is Hench Clan Thug. That is a lot of players were saying that was going to be a really good card. And I
Shock him for one.
trying to get rid of as many cards from the hand as possible before this Defile comes down.
He's like, free damage. Why not? I got 1 mana left over.
Tapping, looking for something. The Voodoo Doll does help a little bit.
Yeah.
It does help clear the Hench Clan Thug.
It's just such a beautiful card to add to this deck, too.
Oh, I love
because he doesn't necessarily even need to Defile here. I mean, he could just use the other Dark Pact. I mean, I think he should Defile.
I think he should as well.
Starting to get to those kind of scary turns where you really don't want to find out what your opponent has. Earth Shock.
Earth Shock. I was going to say that one of the ways that the Odd Cost Paladin...
Look how many cards he just drew.
So many. One of the ways the Odd Cost Paladin deck can actually get through the Void Lords is some of them run a copy of Ironbeak Owl or 2 Ironbeak Owls, and Tyler's running 2 Ironbeak Owls.
Did you see that Sword of Justice that he just burned?
I did.
Sword of Justice? I can't remember the last time I played with that card. But when you're making 2 Silver Hand Recruits at a time instead of 1, and
much
it's an
more
odd cost
powerful.
card, it makes sense. So Earth and Might, +2/+2. If it's played on an elemental, add a random elemental to your hand.
Very strong with Firefly.
Nice little,
Very strong with
nice little
Firefly.
utility card that Shaman picked up there for elemental shamans.
And this Witch's Cauldron is getting them.
And I'll tell you what, Dog's got to be a little bit afraid of Earthshock, but I don't think he's necessarily thinking about that. Yeah, you sometimes go fishing, you don't catch anything. It happens.
Especially ice fishing. You know, all the Murlocs are frozen right now.
Oh my, that's not good when you have both Void Lords already in your hand.
No, I don't believe that summons anything because I believe Doomguard had to be cut from the list in order to make room for the wacky combos. And I mean,
the Wacky Wagon.
The Wacky Wagon Crowskin. Wacky Wagon Burn. I mean, the most Dog can really do right now is try and clean up the board with a Defile play or coin out a Void Lord. I wouldn't mind seeing the Defile play because Dog knows that the majority of Tyler's hand is Shaman spells.
Oh,
a lot of Shaman
look
spells.
at this. So he can discover a demon from that, and then... Oh, that's right. It's from your deck, not from your hand. Why was I thinking it's from your hand? I'm thinking Skull and Minari on that one. I believe that's going to do it. Oh, no, not quite.
If there's a Shaman spell. Stormwind Champion, I don't think that does it.
No,
Is there
it's
enough
not
damage
enough.
anywhere? Blazing?
Discover a bat. Was that
It's Discover a Battle Cry? Yes.
Yeah.
Blazing Invocation. 1 mana Discover a Battle Cry for Shaman.
That will discover Paladin Battle Cries and Neutral Battle Cries because it's in a Paladin
Yes,
class.
you can find Life Drinker.
It's a true story.
That is burn damage. You find what's the 5 mana 4/4? I'm drawing a blank on it.
Nightblade.
Nightblade.
Battle Cry just deal 3.
I mean, why not at this point? Every little damage matters, Admirable. I'm waiting for Nightblade to see competitive play.
I think it's a matter of time.
Let me think.
We're just a couple expansions away.
Yeah, good old Vine Cleaver. Just make some dudes and hit them.
Unfortunately for Dog, there's really no way he can play around this Earthshock unless he goes Voidlord, Coin, Dark Pact, and gets the 1/3s.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about, but I think he might have to do that just to, try to stay
I think he
alive
has
the
to do it
best.
too.
There's a lot of Shaman cards that Tyler's drawing. If he's got another Hex, if he's got Earthshock.
Hex, Earthshock. I'm trying to think if there's Devolve is no longer in rotation.
That's right.
So Devolve is not an answer anymore. But I mean, this is still the safer play. You gain 8 health. You play around those Shaman cards, and you get the 1/3s, which is gonna be hard for Tyler to get through anyways.
Unless you just, happen to Lightning Storm really well. So I'm trying to look at, is this enough damage? He can push through 1, 2 of them and have 8 damage left over. So he's just a little bit off unless...
There is a Stormwind champion.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I think that might be lethal.
He'd have to get a savage Lightning Storm, I think.
Let's see. If all of them roll 2, there would be 9 damage push. Only one of them needs to roll 3.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, needs to run
Only
them to
1
roll
3.
So does that mean he can just Earthshock instead? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Earthshock and Crushing Hand, and
Yep.
that is lethal.
Just Crushing Hand.
Didn't even need a Lightning
Animation
Storm.
of that's so good.
Just comes in and punches little Voidwalker. Little Voidwalker was minding his own business, just trying to protect Gul'dan, and the Crushing Hand just said no.
Witch's Cauldron doing work for the
Yes.
odd Paladin. Odd cost Paladin. Getting it done. Meatwagon is going to have to stay by the wayside and try to Glinda Crowskin later on.
Why would you want a 4-mana 1/4 Meatwagon when you can have Witch's Cauldron, which generates so much more value?
They're just two completely different goals. One sacrifices value for the sake of the combo. The other one is just concerned with turning lots of little 1/1s into weird brews of potions.
I just can't imagine the Silverhand recruits just jumping into the Cauldron and creating shaman spells. Can you picture that?
It's pretty spooky.
That's really spooky.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to come out of that cauldron? Shaman spells. That's all we know about it. But very, very cool game 1 there. I mean, Stormwind Champion. That's like an arena card, and it's in constructed play.
A lot of the odd cost Paladins have been playing Stormwind Champion and Raid Leader. 2 cards that I almost sometimes don't even draft in arena.
Raid Leader.
Raid Leader.
I don't think I've ever played a Raid Leader.
I did the other day, and it actually felt really good. Surprisingly.
It's crazy to think about. You play enough 1/1s, though. Raid Leader is going to look really good. No question about that.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what happens when not only do you get all of the access to these new cards, but so many cards rotate out that you have to find replacements and have to find cuts somewhere. And I guess Raid Leader just fit the role.
Makes sense to me. Odd cost card, buffs up your guys. Sounds like a fit.
Sounds like a fit. We're going into game number 2. It's going to be a Rogue Mirror.
That's right. And Dog is looking like that he's playing the Burgle Rogue. He's got Pickpockets. He's got Blink Foxes. Pickpocket is a 2-cost card. It's with Echo. Echo allows you to replay the card as many times as you can spend the mana to replay it. And it says, take a card at random from your opponent's class. So the key to this deck, of course, is to play Tess Greymane up top. It's the 8-cost Rogue Legendary. It's a 6/6, and it says, replay all class cards that are not from your class from this game. Well, when you're burgling other rogues, they are from your class.
I know. That's the only unfortunate thing about this matchup. I mean, both decks were kind of fine-tuned in different ways. It looked like Tyler was going for a more Miracle Rogue-esque effect, and it looked like Dog was just going for more tempo-based, as we can see with Marsh Drake on one side, and then I believe they're both running the Henchclan Thug, the new 3-mana 3/3 that we saw earlier that gains +1/+1 for every time your hero attacks.
That's right.
Just a powerful card in Rogue in general, since Rogue has access to the dagger on 2.
Yeah, so they're both like somewhat tempo-oriented, but you really hit the nail on the head there. Tyler, of course, with 2 Gadgets and Auctioneers, he's looking at drawing through his deck to assemble powerful combo. With Dog's deck, he's looking way more just to go towards that mid-range pack-a-big-punch style.
This guy's
Yeah, and Tyler's playing Wanted.
Wanted.
Wanted. Rogue.
What does that poster say?
I have no clue.
Oh, it's the card.
Oh,
It's a 4-mana. It's a 4-mana rogue spell that says deal 3 damage to a minion.
And if you kill it, you get a coin.
Yep. So you collect the bounty if you manage to take him down.
I was trying to think of what the picture for the art was, what the face for the poster is, because it's a wanted poster. I didn't know who was on the
Just looks
poster.
like a villain. He just looks like he looks like somebody that'd be on a wanted poster. Like if I was going to describe it, it would just be that guy. I'm just gonna
Oh,
show
I know who
people
you're
that from
talking
now on.
about now. It's that guy.
Yeah. And alive doesn't count. You don't get the bounty if you just beat him up and bring him in.
No, it has to be dead. Wanted, dead.
I don't even want to know how that guy got on that list.
It was for burgling all the other cards from all the other classes.
Wanted for 4 counts of pickpocketing.
And Tyler.
Beware of dangerous fox.
Tyler presented a really interesting option. Could go for the Sherazin. I kind of like the Sherazin just as a tempo play, and sometimes it does revive itself later on in the game. Deadly Poison. There's no weapons inside of this deck, so it will really only work with a dagger. But you know, Tyler's wanting to make this Edwin Van Cleef as big as possible, saying deal with it.
Well, there is something that Dog can do, and it's deal with it. He's got Coin, Vilespine, Slayer. See ya, Edwin.
Oh, I haven't seen Coin Vilespine Slayer in a long time. That was just such a powerful play. Vilespine Slayer, it's a good card.
Yeah, that's a really good card.
And Pickpocket, as you see there, new 2-mana spell. It has Echo, and every time you play it, you get a card from your opponent's class. Unfortunately, in this mirror match, you're getting rogue cards, which I mean sometimes is pretty good, but
Still
Test
good.
Greymane is just an 8-mana 6/6 at this point.
Yeah, this is. We were just talking about arena. This is like now like build a better arena deck. That's the mirror match we're in.
And Dog shadow stepping that Vilespine, making sure that he can answer basically anything Tyler plays for future turns, and I really like that coming out from Dog.
I imagine if he did the first Shadow Step, might be looking at another one here, but Tyler just played that fresh off the top. Maybe he doesn't have a way to answer Vilespine, so leave it on board to handle some pressure. Yep. That's a solid read from Dog. There's no
Ooh.
minion over.
There's the wanted.
Wanted! I like that it's all caps and has an exclamation point.
You just have to love cards like that, right?
Look at that guy.
You know
There's
what? That
no-
is that guy. I remember that guy.
Yeah,
He
there's-
did take my cards.
There's no way it's wanted dead or alive if that's what that guy looks like. It looks thugged and rugged.
And Tyler just running out of cards at this point. That's one thing that, with his approach to the Rogue deck, the Miracle Rogue approach, sometimes you get to a game state where you're just running out of cards. And Dog, with the more tempo-based approach, just has a minion each turn. And let's see what this Blink Fox. What's in the fox? Is it a box?
Pandora's Fox. Oh! Not that one.
No, we did not want that one. We wanted wanted.
It's funny he had a Kingsbane option earlier, right?
We could have just built Kingsbane Rogue. Blink Fox was trying to give Tyler Kingsbane Rogue, but Tyler said no. I don't want Kingsbane Rogue.
If you see a mystical fox out in the middle of nowhere, I recommend that you very heavily weigh your decisions, but me personally, I would follow that fox.
Especially if that fox told you it could make a 8/3 lifesteal weapon.
Yeah, and in real life, I would go, I don't know what that means, but sure. In Hearthstone, you know exactly what it means, though. It means you're hitting a lot.
Blink Fox just leads you through the
Yeah.
Witchwood.
A
And you
fox,
just see on the pillar.
a fox can lead you to Kingsbane.
What kind of world do we live in where foxes are leading us to weapons?
The Witchwood. That's exactly the kind of world.
And although this is the one coolest part about
see what Tyler's
Pickpocket
got.
is since it has Echo, you just generate so much value. Those are some decent cards.
These are some solid cards.
Ooh. If that was any cheaper, that could have done a lot of damage.
It still did a lot of damage. This is a 9/4 Drake that's crashing in.
And I like Dog just playing out the Cold Blood, pushing as much damage as possible, recognizing that Tyler probably doesn't have a great way to deal with this Marsh Drake right now.
No, he does not. And that's not an auctioneer. Oh. That is such a disappointment to see now. I'm looking at it I'm like,
so
no!
sad.
If this is any other matchup.
Not you, Tess Greymane. we could have had so much fun.
Gosh, it's very rare that you just see a card that is pretty much strictly worse than Boulder Fist Ogre, but this is definitely one of those situations.
This is worse than Boogie Monster.
Which is not a bad card, I don't think. I think he was just way outshined. He just didn't
You
have
talking about the new Boogie Monster?
Darius Crowley's no joke.
Darius Crowley, the 5-mana 4/4 warrior legendary. Rush whenever it kills a minion. Get +2/+2.
Not in this game. Only rogues.
Yeah, and
I don't know how Tyler gets out of this. I mean,
I don't think he does.
he really needs to draw Auctioneer. If he draws exactly Gadgets and Auctioneer next turn, I think he's got a chance.
Yeah, there might be some chance. I mean, still, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming on. I mean, this March Strike just coming down again next turn, cleaning up the 2/1 poisonous, I think it's a Drake Slayer, is the term for it. Drake Slayer, and then, I mean, look at how much pressure is just building. You can even play Kingsbane with it. Why not? Make sure we have a weapon for the rest of the game.
I think Tyler's got to have Auctioneer. He's got the cards in deck to do it, but
This is going to have to be one miracle from the Witchwood. It's a lot of pressure.
yes, it is. Man, these poor little 2/1s, they're just getting... He's like, I've got the shot! And then Valier's just like, and you're like, ah!
And Dog not even wanting to take the damage, using the pedal in order to, you know, maybe there is some kind of combination that Tyler can produce. And let's see what Test Greymane pulls! Fantastic. Phenomenal.
Nothing. You win some, you lose some. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Mistakes were made in the mirror. And I believe, how much damage is this?
14's looking like.
Yeah, that is a lot of
Oh,
damage.
we can play the Spectral Pillager as well.
Can also bounce back the Razor Pedal in order to get another 1
right.
damage. So I believe it's 15 right now. Oh, and the Spectral Pillager. That's just...
Yeah, and Spectral
just
Pillager is enough damage to make that lethal.
Yep, and Dog going to go ahead and take this.
It's 1 spell, it's 2 spells, it's 3 spells,
Yeah.
and that'll do it.
I think that's just a
4
testament.
spells.
I believe so. I think that's just a testament to the way the decks were built. Tyler was going more for a Gadgets and Auctioneer approach, capitalizing on the spells and cards like Wanted, the one that gives coins, whereas Dog was going for more of a tempo-based approach and trying to end the game as early as possible.
Yeah, so that's really the trade-off there, is I think the tempo-based approaches have a little bit more consistency to them, but the Gadgets and Auctioneer offers that explosiveness.
Yes.
So if you want spectacular wins, Gadgets and Auctioneer is probably the kind of card you're looking for. If you just want to consistently have some pressure down, start hitting them, you know, challenge your opponent, the tempo-oriented build, I think, is looking pretty solid there.
Yeah, and the tempo-oriented build in that select matchup is typically more favored just because there's not many great ways that the rogue can deal with the minions without taking damage, especially when they just keep piling up, and cards like Marstrake are just, I mean, Eviscerate kills it, but then you're not saving Eviscerate for your Gadget's Hand turn, and, I mean, you're just kind of using your cards to stall until you hopefully make a miracle.
It's all about that Auctioneer.
Yes,
The Auctioneer or
is
bust.
powerful.
You'll have it a lot of times, but when you don't,
Feels really bad.
stings a bit. Hey, that's Hearthstone.
Yep,
You're not always
exactly.
going to get your perfect hand, and when you don't have your perfect hand, you gotta leave the rest up to the workings of the deck. You know, I don't think his discoveries on random stuff was quite that good. Dog landed a big pickpocket turn as well, able to pick up 3 extra cards because he wasn't under pressure. Something else to think about too. Sometimes pressure means your opponent can't do whatever they want to do. So that's a check mark for Dog now, and we got a tied series.
Tied series going into game number 3, and the Druid, the new Druid, I believe it's Lunara, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's the new one, yeah.
That's the new Druid.
You win 10 games in Standard when you log in, and you get yourself a new Druid Hero portrait.
I do like that portrait a lot. All the new portraits have just been phenomenal, especially when MZ came out and now Lunara. Oh, just winning 10 games. Anybody can have it.
And
You can have it, Admiral. Do you have it yet?
Of course I haven't. I finished 10 total games. of
Admiral
Fatigue
had it
Warrior.
within the first 10 minutes of the
That's
expansion
not
coming
true.
out.
My first game wasn't even done. Tyler's coming with a Spiteful Summoner Priest featuring a lot of the new cards that are looking for dragon synergy. One of the big ones is Wormguard. I really like this card a lot. 7 mana, 3/11. It says Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon in your hand, it gets +1 attack, and it becomes Taunt as well. That is a heap of stats
It
for
is
7
very
mana.
powerful. And we see with Prince Keliseth, you can make it a 5/12 with Taunt.
That's
That's
right.
even more stats. And Tyler's deck has some very interesting inclusions. It does include that Scale Worm. It is a 4 mana 4/4. If you are holding a dragon, you get +1 attack and rush.
Yeah, rushes. It can attack minions immediately.
Yes, rushes. You can't attack face, not like charge, but you can still attack some things.
Dog's deck is looking really, really wacky. A lot of rampant here, and featuring some of the new beast synergy that you're seeing from Druid. Namely, the big one to me is Witching Hour. It's a 3-mana Druid spell. It says, resurrect a friendly beast that died this game.
Yeah, and it also has Duelmaster Dorian, capitalizing on drawing. Maybe Duelmaster Dorian hits the board, you nourish, and you draw into Hadronox, Lich King, Grizzled Guardian.
Rotten Apple Bomb.
There's a lot of good cards to be drawn off that.
Yeah, the Duelmaster Dorian is a 5-mana 2/6 that says whenever you draw a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it.
That's still just a good combo. The
Yeah,
Oaken
that's
summons into Ironbark Golem.
Like, you put a big tree in the way, it'll block for you.
And Tyler was actually a little. You could see him think for a minute when he was presented the options, because all 3 of the cards had the potential to be in Dog's deck, and you don't know what Dog's playing. You have no clue. I mean, Swipe was probably the safest choice because I believe most Druids will play Swipe, but I mean, Starfall has not been out of Druid lists.
I've been seeing it in some. It's not a bad card.
It's a pretty good card, and I also like that Mossy Horror card. It's the 6-mana 2/7. It has the effect of Shadow Word Horror. It will destroy any minion. Oh,
this one's still really good, so we're only getting 8 cost.
Mossy Horror is not going to help here.
Oh boy.
Ooh. That's a big, big tree. You thought the other tree was big?
Yeah.
And then you see this tree.
Don't hit trees, okay? The tree wins. You might not really have much of an option here, though. Just have to start rumbling.
I mean, not even the Spellstone really answers it. There is Naturalize. Naturalize can't answer it. Along with Naturalize, it can be played alongside the Astral Tiger. Maybe the Oaken summons. Maybe Dog wants to thin out his deck a little bit, trying to pull out the minion.
That's exactly the thing I'm looking at here, is that it's how much mana he's got left over. This was like the perfect turn for Tyler to have coin Spiteful Summoner.
Yes.
Just right on an 8-mana turn. He wanted to play Lich King. If he couldn't play Lich King, he wanted to play 2 4s. And if you can't play 2 4s, well, yeah. Things are looking a little bit rough now.
Yeah, it's really awkward. I mean, you kind of have to Naturalize at this point. At least Dog can also answer the Spiteful Summoner with the Spellstone if he chooses to. But one issue that I can see in this matchup with Dog's deck is Druid just typically has a hard time dealing with very large statted minions.
Yes.
And, I mean, Dog's just going to run into that trouble where Tyler just keeps playing a large statted minion every time.
Yeah, and I'm looking for, Ultimate Infestation to be a big draw. Maybe he draws Duelmaster Darian and is able to get a crazy Nourish off.
Yeah, that would be exciting. I really want to see that. I really want to see that.
He's got a lot of gas in the tank. The Spiteful Summoner Priests, they just really had to change the direction on the way the Dragons went. No longer are you on Draconid Operative. Now you're on, Wormguard to really get a lot of that work done. You're on Scale Worm, which is just more immediate board pressure, but you sacrifice value to have that style of board pressure and that answer that's there. So I feel like the direction of it is very natural for it to go in this more mid-rangey aggressive state than more of a value-oriented deck, just because the deck has a lot of natural value anyway.
It does, and it also forces certain dragons to be run that may not typically have been ran. For instance, one of the dragons I'm looking at now is Scalebane, because not only did they lose Dragonlord Operative, they also lost Hookworm, and they lost Netherspite Historian, which were just very important to the dragon.
Army of the Dead!
That's like a better Duelmaster Dorian Nourish play.
I mean, that could be sick. There's a lot of big stuff in Dog's deck.
Hadronox, Grizzled Guardian.
Granted, there's also Ultimate Infestation in there. You don't want to burn that one, really.
Someone injured?
I'll be curious to see how this
risk.
pans out.
I'd take the risk.
You might have to.
You kind of have to at this point.
Sand's not looking too tasty right now.
No, and Mossy Horror really, it can clear up the Norshire Clerics, but there's still that Twilight Acolyte and Scalebane on the board, and that's scary.
They got a lot of power.
Yeah, this is some big
Tyler's
dragons
drawing a million
and minions.
cards.
This is not looking good for Dog right now, even with the Army of the Dead.
Power.
Just gotta let it rip. All right.
So
That wasn't half bad.
yeah, it's not the worst situation I think that could have outcome out of this, but still a lot. Oh my! Tyler just drew mind control. He doesn't have mana for this turn, but this is getting scary. So you can start to see where Dog's list is going with this. With the Witching Hour, you have the 5-cost Witchwood Grizzly. It's a 3/12 taunt, but it loses a health for each card in your opponent's hand. So sometimes you cheat that out, or sometimes you just play it, and then you Witching Hour and get it back. The battle cry doesn't activate at that point. It's just a 3/12 taunt afterwards. So he's trying to just find a way to cheat the curve in a very unique way that keeps his opponent under a lot of pressure.
And I think Dog, with the Witchwood Grizzly in the deck, was expecting a lot of the odd cost Paladin that we've been talking so much about, and that card is really good in that matchup because odd cost Paladin sometimes just has to keep committing minions over and over to the board, and then you just have cards like Spreading Plague. I don't believe Dog's running that, but there are cards like Spreading Plague and Swipe that just easily answer those boards, followed up with a Witchwood Grizzly.
Yeah. Because
a lot of power.
In the other game, you're not necessarily fighting with minions with Druid, so you just ignore that, and you have to have ways to clear that up afterwards. So you have to sacrifice something in order to play these styles of effects and really get things underway. But to me, the big one is that Tyler has just got so much on board that I'm curious if Dog really gets back into this one. I think he's got a good chance here because he's kept some minions out, and now he's drawn another taunt minion. So he's making some progress, but still ways to go.
He's making some progress, but I mean, Dog has to develop each turn in order to keep up with Tyler, and Tyler just each turn is gonna be developing something bigger and bigger.
And Dog
bigger.
lost his Old Master Darian, so he doesn't have that giant turn. So I mean, his next big turn he's looking for is Hadronox.
And the Witching Hour can actually summon the Astral Tigers, and that one, and he just shuffled the 2 Astral Tigers into his deck, and that's gonna summon those. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think that's what Dog needed right now to try and get back into this game. I don't know how much it's going to help, but it's something.
It's tough. The thing that I'm really worried about for Dog is that he needs to kill his Hadronox the turn he plays it, or Tyler can threaten mind control on that. So he's got to find a way to dish that out as well. And Tyler draws Chameleos. It's a new priest legendary.
Very exciting card.
It's just a 1-mana 1/1. That's it. That's all it does.
Yeah, nothing else.
Wait, hang on a second. It's got this other ability. It says
what's the other one?
Every single turn that it starts in your hand, it transforms into a card from your opponent's hand.
So you're telling me it could be anything. It could be everything and anything. Could it even be a Chameleos?
If your opponent's got one in hand, I imagine.
That's powerful information.
It's scouting, too.
Because if I know my opponent has a Chameleos, then I know that they're going to find cards from my hand, and then I'm finding cards from their hand, but they're finding cards from my hand. Admirable, this is too much for me.
This is like one of the coolest cards in the game, I think, because just turn after turn, you're looking for the right opportunity to unleash that card, but at the same time, you start to figure out what your opponent's game plan is, and they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, they don't even know you have it in the hand. So, I mean, sometimes they could play a mind game with your opponent. If they think you have or Chameleos, and then they're like, well, what if he got my equality? Oh, I got to play around that. I mean, realistically, you can't play around that kind of stuff. But
it's really tough.
Mind games get there sometimes. And just information is just so powerful in card games. I mean, being able to hand read was a very important skill for pro players, but having access to Chameleos to really solidify and know what it is, or like you were saying, finding out what their game plan was.
Keeps drawing those Astral Tigers. It's not what you want to see.
No, I mean, I'm going to take the value trade here, but yeah, those Astral Tigers wanted to be in the deck so that the Grizzled Guardian could pull them out. Oh, and now Tyler knows that the Astral Tiger is in the hand, knowing that the Grizzled... That gives information saying that Grizzled Guardian might not pull anything out of the deck.
Yeah, Chameleos. Yeah,
information is power.
But what else would it pull instead?
That's another really good question. And now that you know that, it's like your mind starts to wander. What else is Tyler thinking is in this deck that costs 4 or lower that Grizzled Guardian could pull? Maybe the second Greedy Sprite?
Yep.
That could be potentially.
He saw both of the Ironwood Golems go away. That's usually what I think that Oaken Summons package will stick to as well. A lot of times it's just Ironwood Golem. Sometimes they add in Greedy Sprite. They want that, Greedy Sprite, they want that extra wild growth effect.
Yeah, Greedy Sprite, really powerful card. Especially, I mean, the only downside to Greedy Sprite is sometimes your opponent can just ignore it, but eventually it's going to trade up. It is a 3/1. It will trade up into something. And here we see the pressure being mounted. Just gonna play an Astral Tiger. It was even buffed by the Prince Keleseth. I just noticed that.
Oh, that's right.
Chameleos gets buffed, and then if it copies a minion, it buffs the minion. Does it buff the spell though? Does it give +1/+1 to spells?
It's a 1/1 spell. Just every single turn it attacks, it fireballs too.
You play a fireball and then just Chameleus comes out of the fireball and hits the board.
To me, it's just the image of you picturing it. Like I picture like a frostbolt that's flying at somebody, but it's just got your smiling face on it instead. You're like, I'm a 1/1 frostbolt.
And Dog just kind of has to mitigate some of the board state, but
he's trying to fight back, but Tyler's hand is just stacked. There's so much stuff left.
eventually Tyler's just going to have more Astral Tigers in his deck than Dog will have.
Just keep stealing them all.
And there's that Worm Guard you were talking about, the 7-mana.
He's
3/11.
actually just going to mind control it.
Why not? If Dog wants to take this late game, Tyler said, go ahead. I'm going to have more Tigers
There's
than you.
more Tigers.
There's so many Tigers. And Dog is almost out of cards.
Wow, that was a solid warning from Lunora there. It's like a lot of them, they sound panicked. They're like, I'm running out of cards. What am I gonna do? Lunaro's like, I'm running out of cards. Like, hey,
She's being a little sassy.
you dum-dum, take a look at your deck. You're about to go into fatigue.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta make something
know.
happen.
He said, don't take me to fatigue. I want to win this game.
You got it, Lunara. You got it. I'll shuffle some Spectral Tigers back in. Astral Tigers, excuse me.
Yeah, and what is Hadronox back? There we talking about the Worm Guard. You were talking about very powerful card, gaining taunt and +1 attack, and that's it. That is all the cards in the deck. So if you want to build it at home, you know
now
everything
seen
now.
All 30 of them. There's only 2 Astral Tigers though. The rest of those are summoned elsewhere.
Yeah, you can't put 4 Astral Tigers into your deck.
Well, you can. It just takes some work.
Eventually, Tyler's gonna have 4 Astral Tigers in his deck. The Carnivorous Cube is really interesting to me. I really like seeing that in the deck. I mean, it's just been a staple in decks like Cube Block, and there was Quest Druid at one point that did play it, trying to OTK with charged Devilsaur or Leroy Jenkins. But seeing it in another value deck is just interesting to me.
He's so close to getting this done. He just needs 3 more turns.
That's a lot of turns, though. Maybe this Witchwood Grizzly being a 3/8 can help. It forces the trade on the Tiger and the Worm Guard, but then there's just another Worm Guard.
Oh my.
Worm Guard, and the 3-mana 3/4 is Nightmare Amalgam, and it is everything.
Oh! That's
Oh my
sick!
gosh. I mean, I don't know how Dog wins this game. That's just so much pressure.
I mean, when his hand gets him out of this.
I mean, he can't even clear off his own Hadronox to hopefully get the taunts in the way.
Exactly. Tyler had forced him to respond to his board pressure. Jasper Spellstones went away. Naturalize went away. You know, the idea there is that you want that big board swing to happen all at once. And Dog just didn't have that opportunity.
Dog seeing the correct line of play, understanding that if he can't
Don't let
even-
Tyler have the pleasure.
Yeah, don't. But he doesn't have enough fatigue damage. He's gonna live at 1. Oh no!
He tried so
He
hard.
tried.
Tyler 2-1. Getting it done with Spiteful Priest. Worm Guard is just big. That's really the thing that I
Yes.
think is cool about the new Dragon package, is that it's like the ultimate end game for mid-range, where you're like, oh yeah, sure, you can have some cool stuff. You have lots of cool early game. If I get to this end game point, my stuff is gigantic, and it protects me, and it's huge, and it's powerful. It's got like the colossal fair game aspect to it.
I like that. That's one of the fun things about the Spiteful Priest is just nothing's more satisfying than just slamming a big minion on the board and saying deal with it.
Yeah,
Just look your opponent dead in the eye and go deal with it.
just big stuff.
Big stuff.
I just like big dumb cards sometimes. Sometimes I like, getting tricky and seeing if I can combo maneuver my way around stuff. I like to see if I can play some of the aggro decks and ride that edge of defeat the whole time, where you're hoping they don't have the AoE, but sometimes just slam some big minions.
I mean, have you ever just played a Spiteful Summoner and then it pulled Tyrantus or it pulled Deathwing Dragonlord?
I've seen that happen on the other side. It happens a lot on the other side.
Nothing is more satisfying than doing that.
Just big old Tyrantus. 10-minute 12-12. That's it. Love to see that. So Tyler's got 1 class left now. It's his rogue. And we saw this drop the ball in the first game it played. Couldn't find himself a Zen Auctioneer. It was under too much pressure. Dog, he's going to run back the Druid.
You gotta give the people what they want. They want the Druid. And I was wondering if this was the deck Dog was talking about that he felt was a little sketchy. I wonder if it was
You don't
this
think it
one?
was the Meat Wagon Glinda Crowskin
But it also could
Nomfratu
have been the Meat Wagon Nomfratu Glinda Crowskin Warlock
with Summoning Portal.
and Cube.
This is what I mean, too. He said one of these decks.
It could have been the Rogue.
He said one of them. I mean,
You don't think it was both?
They're two crazy-looking decks to me.
And,
We'll see if he can pull it off. He's got to win 2 straight.
He's got to win 2 straight, and the one thing Tyler is going from here is now when Tess Greyman hits the board, it's going to actually do things.
That's
it's not
right.
going to just be an 8-mana 6/6. It's going to play all the Druid cards, and there are a lot of solid Druid cards. I mean, Druid for a long time was one of the most powerful classes just based off of its core set.
Yeah. He's also got the Hench Clan Thug in his hand, 3-mana 3/3. After your hero attacks, get +1/+1.
Yeah, we've been seeing that card come up a lot. In,
Strong in Rogue, but it's you could use it
It's
in other
strong
classes
in a lot
too.
of decks,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, there's access for Hunter with Candle Shot. It's also an odd card, so if you wanted to build the odd cost card Hunter, that would work as well.
Paladin,
There's
Life's
also
Justice.
Paladin, yeah. There's Warrior. We're bringing back Pirate Warrior with Hench Clan Thugs.
And known as us first mates.
And no patches. Good riddance.
Starting off with a wild growth here. That Thug is dangerous, though. See, Dog just nod his head like, yeah, that's the one I didn't want him to have.
Yeah, that thing is probably going to get out of
Yikes.
control.
That is scary. That card is good.
He can coin out the Apple Blossom,
That won't take care of it, though.
but it does force Tyler to use the weapon hit and swing into the Apple Blossom first.
That's if he doesn't have anything.
Fair enough.
Yeah. that Apple
He's got
Bomb,
wanted.
Apple Bomb looks wanted, but he's also got Prep Eviscerate. Tell you what, you get the tempo train rolling, and your opponent doesn't answer it. That Hench Clan Thug is a very scary minion to face down.
I mean, it's really hard to answer as well now that it's gotten to this state. Typically, Swipe could have answered it, or even the potential for a Wrath hero power. But, I mean, Dog doesn't run Wrath, and we're past the point of Swipe. Swipe is no longer answering this bad boy.
Yep, he's pretty much just got to summon stuff and hope that it works out. And it's right now not going so hot.
No,
And
not at
Naturalize is
all.
gonna feed Tyler 2 extra cards from his deck.
That's
The Thug's out of
Naturalize.
control.
Yeah. Naturalize is a good card, but when you're given tempo-oriented decks more cards just to clear up a 3-mana minion.
That means they got a lot more options.
Exactly.
That's typically the one thing that you have going for you against a tempo-oriented decks. Their options are quite limited. You have to take advantage of the plays that you can predict they will usually make. Find a way to navigate around that. But when you just give them a lot of cards,
Their options become more and more, and when you give a tempo-based deck
they've
more and more
always
options,
got that burst damage.
yeah, it's not pretty. Tyler debating whether or not he.
Well,
wants
it's
to
very
clear-
pretty depending on
Yeah.
what perspective you're
It's
on.
really good for Tyler right now,
Yeah.
but for Dog, it's
If you're the tempo player, it looks great. I love tempo decks.
Tyler just evaluating whether he wanted to clear up the Astro Tiger, and actually clearing up the Astro Tiger, although in very small occasions, is very bad for Dog because he does not want to draw Astro Tiger right
right.
now, and it gives Dog an opportunity to draw that card.
Wow, another hero power. The Thug continues.
It's a 3-mana 7/7 right
They're
now.
going to make a movie series about this guy pretty soon. He's going to have, 8 different versions of his own movie out there.
They're gonna cast you to play the lead role.
They can cast the guy on that wanted poster to play the lead role. I mean, he's great for the job.
Well, he can't come out of hiding. Though.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
That's true.
Web weave. And you thought it couldn't get any worse. Now the 1/2 spiders are out.
I am trying to think of a way that Dog gets out of this game, but he is at 8.
He can't even Mossy Heart. He's just.
Oh well, that could do it. That card
Crystal Guardian into Ironwood
taunts.
Golems.
Yeah.
But is that?
Oh,
We spoke too soon.
Nail in the coffin. Tyler, unchecked Thug goes the distance. Hench Clan Thug. If you like tempo decks and you like Rogue,
Oh, do I got a card
get
for you,
yourself
Admirable.
a couple of those bad boys. That one went the distance. Tyler, solid 3-1 performance, earns a second point for his team in the finals, or that finals advantage. Each match that the teams have won earns them an additional ban when it comes to that winner-take-all match at the very end. Right now, these are exhibitions with a bit of meaningfulness to them because of that final advantage.
And this is scaring me right now. As a player from the Americas region, I'm a little terrified right now that the Europe region is just kind of mopping the floor with us.
I mean, you're looking at Tyler. Tyler's one of the best ladder players out there. You're looking at Orange. He was at the World Championships. You know, they're putting up fights, but right now they're looking like they just got some solid decks.
Yeah, they definitely. And Dog was mentioning earlier about how he was a little sketched out by a deck, and I think it was that Druid, because that Druid, although it's really cool, it has a hard time.
There's 2 meat wagons in the Warlock. There's 2 of them. So we got Tyler on the line to get some of his thoughts on the match. Tyler, pretty solid set from you there. Talk to me about this match now. Are you feeling a lot better about your decks after you've brought this stuff? And I see you got some friends there with you, enjoying the times you guys are around. Talk to me about the match.
I mean, I was so confused when I saw all the cards. At first, the Warlock with the meat wagon, I had no idea what he would pull. I guess it would be Summoning Portal. And then the Druid, I was trying to figure out what his win condition was. So I was trying to figure out what I should play around, but I had no idea what could possibly be in that deck. And it turns out he had kind of no win condition. So yeah, he made it kind of easy for me by bringing bad decks.
Is there anything looking back that you would have changed about your lineup, or is there anything that Dog showed you that maybe got your mind working on some cool decks you want to build when you're done with this?
So I was just hoping that Dog would make a read that I would just bring the strongest deck, so that I would bring Warlock, and then based on that, I was hoping that he would bring a heavy control lineup. So I kind of made decks that targeted control decks with the Spiteful Priest and the Miracle Rogue. Turns out he just brought random decks, so yeah, seems good to me.
And now with Europe up 2-0, the best that Americas can do during the first 4 matches is make it even. Are you guys hoping for the full sweep, or do you want it to go even and go to that finals match on straight up man-to-man footing?
I mean, to be fair, we did not underestimate them. When we were preparing, we made the 9 classes for the final match, with while keeping in mind that we could possibly go 2-2 and that we would have 2 bans each, and that's what we had in mind while building the lineup. But if we do happen to go 4-0, then that's even better. It just gives us more space to get favorable bans.
Well, it was a pleasure watching you play. I like some of the takes on your decks, and if you happen to play, good luck in that final match, but otherwise good luck to the rest of your team, and congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much, man.
Ooh,
so many reads going in, man.
I know, right? I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. Mind games is a very important part that people just don't think about when they're playing card games. I mean, everything from reading your opponent's hand to saying, oh, well, I think he's going to bring this, so I'm going to bring that. I mean, that's just an important skill to have.
Throw all those reads out the window as soon as Meat Wagon hits.
Yeah, no, you can't read anything when Meat Wagon hits.
Yeah, speaking of which, I want to get some thoughts on this. We got Dog here with us. Dog, an unfortunate set for you on that one, but I have a big question for you. You said you had one deck that you felt was a little bit sketch, and after seeing the Druid and the Warlock, I have to know which one of these 2 it was.
It was the Druid. The Druid was sketchy. I had to add a lot of cards from the new expansion to make it applicable to the tournament, because you need 8 cards. So it got a little sketchy. It was good, but then it got a little sketchy once I added Mossy Horror and all those cards. Dollmaster. It's a little weird.
So after playing your series, what would you think you could have gone back and changed, or is there anything that got your mind rolling on new ideas? What's going through your head now?
I really like the Warlock deck still. I think the Warlock deck's really solid. The Meat Wagon thing, it's not really that big of a meme, because the thing is you play Meat Wagon, and if you get half a turn with Summoning Portal, either you don't have to cube it or anything, but you play Phantom Militia. It's the Echo Taunt. So it costs 1, so you just play 5 of those right after, and it protects your Summoning Portal, and you don't even need Glinda, right? So you just play Meat Wagon, get the Summoning Portal. But I didn't draw the Phantom Militia, but yeah, it's really, really good actually. Pretty cool.
And so now looking at it, America's is down 0-2 in this one. Are you guys hopeful you can bring this back to even and have an even match in the finals?
Yeah, I mean, who's up next? Savige? Savige got this. He's a good player. I trust him.
No further comments needed on that one. He's been around for a while, and he's always been creative. Well, it's a pleasure to watch you play, liking your decks, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can put together for this expansion.
Cool. Thanks.
Always a creative guy. I didn't even think about the Phantom Militia. I was looking at his deck and I was like, why does he have this?
I saw it and I sat there and I was like, Phantom Militia, that's kind of interesting. I guess you can just kind of keep playing. And then when he said it with the summoning port, I was like, it's just a lot of 2/4 taunts. I mean, you thought Void Lord was bad.
That's right.
On turn 5, there's 5 2/4 taunts staring you down.
3 mana 2/4 taunt with Echo. Echo means you can replay it as many times as you have the mana to do so. And if you want to get your hands on some of these cards, start booting up decks yourself. Well, guess what? You can do that. You log in right now, and you get 3 free packs. They're just giving them to you right from the Witchwood set. Not only that, but you get a class legendary as you log in as well. And there's the new Druid portrait available. You just got to win 10 standard games.
And also, with you getting those free packs, I believe they implemented the first 10 packs, you're going to get a legendary. So, I mean, that's 2 legendaries in your first 10 packs.
Lunara.
Already.
Such a cool hero. Got brand new cards. Format's rotated. We've had some sets moved to exclusively to Wild, but we got brand new cards to go with it. A couple cards of Hall of Fame. But up next, we have another great match for you guys. It's going to be RDU from Europe taking on Savitz from the Americas, a new transplant here to the Americas as he now lives in California. Looks like he's got himself a happy little marriage going on there. So we'll come back with that match when we come up. We got 2 more sets plus the finals after this.